Hello and welcome back to SMLtags. In the last video, we talked about subscription tiers and how to upgrade your account and what benefits you receive from that. In this video, we're going to talk about how to add that additional data that the paid and premium tier give you access to. When you upgrade to paid or premium, one of the first things that you'll notice is on your home screen, you will probably have a notice that your profile is no longer complete. You may have completed it under the free tier, but now it's incomplete. And the reason it's incomplete is because you now have more fields that you can fill in, more data that you can add. To do that, you can just tap the blue button here that says add your medical data. Another place to find it is if you open the menu and choose profile, it's the third item, medical data. So if we choose medical data here, then you can see that we have allergies, medications, supplements, and substance use. Scroll down a little bit more, medical conditions, and finally medical history. So we're going to go through each one of these very briefly to show how they work. They're all very similar in how they work. All of them have the ability to say, I do not have this, I don't have allergies, I don't have medications, I don't have any medical conditions and so forth, which can be just as important as telling a first responder about allergies you have. It's also important to let them know you don't have any. That way they don't have to worry about it. So under allergies, again, if you don't have any allergies, it's as simple as checking the box and that's it, you're done. You can just say, I have no allergies. Now, if you do, it's as simple as tapping add, and then you can select from the list, you can search through the list, or if you can't find in the standard list that we have provided, then there are custom allergies that you can create. Now, a custom allergy is unique to your account. No one else will have that custom allergy unless they create something exactly like yours, but they're completely separate. So I'm going to demonstrate both real quick to show you how that works. And just know that you can do the same thing on each one of these. If you don't find something in the list, you can always create a custom item. So in this case, we're going to add an allergy. I'm going to try selecting it from the list. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I have an allergy to penicillin. Now you don't have to type the whole thing in. I just type PEN and I'm going to hit the check mark. And you can see that it gives me some options here. And I can see that penicillin is right there. So I'm going to add penicillin to my allergy list. And now you can see that I am allergic to penicillin. And let's say that I want to give a little bit more information about that. I can edit that item and say, well, my penicillin allergy is severe. And I can hit save. And now there is that additional information available there. If you want to add even more information, you can add a note to it. We will talk about that in a later video. But every one of these items you can add notes to if you need to provide additional information to first responders. Now, let's say that you put an allergy in there and you were wrong. You made a mistake, or for whatever reason you want to remove it. It's as simple as hitting the trash can icon. It'll have you confirm that you want to delete it. You hit delete and it's gone. So I'm going to go ahead and say I have no known allergies, and then let's move on. Okay, medications, supplements, and substance use. These three are kind of together, but they're also separate. So medications are medications that you take that are prescribed or that are, over-the-counter medications that are actual medications. There's also supplements, so things like vitamins, minerals, things like creatine. Those are supplements. And then substance use has to do with things that may or may not be legal in your area, and we will talk about that more in detail in just a moment. But for medications, we'll go ahead and add a medication. It's the same thing. If you take no medications, you can hit the check mark and say, I don't take any. But we're going to add one. Again, same thing. Let's say the medication I take is metformin. So if I start typing that and hit the check mark to search, then I can see that metformin is there. So I'm going to select metformin, and I can optionally enter my dosage. So let's say I take 1,000 milligrams, and I take that daily. Okay, then I can hit add medication, and here we have that I take metformin, 1,000 milligrams daily. Now, when you're searching for a medication, and I'll show you this, you can either search by the generic name or a brand name, assuming that we have the brand name in here. There are a lot of brand names for medications, so your brand name may not quite show up. But let's say you take Lipitor. Lipitor is a brand name, so I'm going to put in Lippy and see what it shows. Now, you can see that that is atorvastatin, which I may be pronouncing that wrong. I'm not a doctor. But Lipitor is the brand name, but even searching for that, it doesn't matter. You still get it. It still shows that it's Lipitor. And again, you can put in your dosage and frequency. Okay. The other thing to make note of here is on the medications, again, if you can't find your medication in this list, just choose custom medication. You can put in, you need to at least put in the generic name. It's okay if you don't know the generic name, just put in whatever information you have. And because any information is better than no information for first responders. The easiest way to do this, by the way, is when you start, go and gather up all of your medications and have them in front of you so that you can refer to them as you're doing it. Sometimes they're hard to spell and it's easy to get things wrong. So it's better to have that right in front of you when you do it. Anyway, one thing that I did not mention though, when I was talking about allergies, and this is true for all of them, allergies, medications, and so forth. If you enter a custom medication or a custom allergy or custom anything, that custom entry will be sent to a review system. Now, none of your other personal data is sent with it. It's only the name and the generic name, the brand name. That's all that gets added. That gets sent so that we can review that, because if you take it, it's likely someone else takes it too. Or if you have that allergy, it's likely someone else has that allergy too, and they may be looking for it too. So we want to expand our list. And so what that does is that allows us to add these custom items where people have searched for something and couldn't find it, and we can expand our list over time. Again, your data is still private, it's still completely secure. We don't see who submitted it. We don't see any other information about you, just the name of the allergy or the name of the medication or the name of the medical condition. Okay? All right, so we've added metformin as a medication that we take. Supplements, again, these are things like vitamins, minerals, that we'll go ahead and say we take vitamin C, and we're just gonna add that as a supplement. And then let's talk about substance use. And there is a big blue box here that has some information that you should read. But the gist of it is, the most important part of it is, substance use, just like everything else in your profile, when a paramedic or a first responder, a firefighter, EMS, anyone who accesses your data in an emergency, when they access that data, they are bound by law to not share that information with anyone who does not need it. That includes law enforcement, that includes the company you work for, that includes your family, that includes government agencies. They are not allowed to share that information. What that means is that any information you put in here is private and protected, and it could be vital to saving your life in an emergency. So don't hold anything back. This is just like with your doctor. You should tell your doctor about anything that you use, and you should tell your paramedic when they come to save your life about anything that you use. And so here, again, it's the same thing. You can report that you have no substance use that you want to report, or you can add an item either from the list or create a custom item. And we have tried to put some of the most common things that people use. But if you don't find whatever you need, you can always add a custom substance. And again, just like everything else, we will work to keep this up to date with as many standard items as we can. So right now we're going to say I have no substance use to report, and we're going to move on. Okay, medical conditions. So medical conditions are generally long-term conditions that would be important for someone to know. An example would be diabetes or epilepsy, or I have a heart murmur, or anything like that. Something that could impact your care, make sure that you include it in here. Even if you don't think it's terribly important, include it in here. In this case, we're taking metformin, so we're going to assume that we have type 2 diabetes. So I'm just going to do a search for diabetes right here. And sure enough, there it is, type 2 diabetes. So we're going to add that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a note here that says it's well controlled. Metformin's doing its job. Okay. So we're going to add that condition. So now we see that Michael Smith here has type 2 diabetes. All right, and then under medical history, this is things like medical procedures you've undergone, or if you have any implants or anything like that again might be relevant. So, you have a pacemaker, you have a stent, you have a plate in your ankle from when you broke it as a teenager. Anything like that could be important to know, and so you can add that into medical history. The same with everything else. You can select one, you can search for it, you can add a custom entry. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and say I have no relevant medical history. And at this point, our red box has gone away. That means we've now completed our profile as far as this goes. We've added all the information that a first responder would need. The last thing I'm going to show you in this video is documents. And documents is very simple. So if you're on the premium plan, remember the other stuff that we were just talking about is a paid tier subscription item. It also is available under premium. Documents, however, are premium only. So you'll have to have a premium subscription if you want to upload documents. But it's very, very simple. All you do is tap upload document. You can choose what type of document. Some of the options that we have are do not resuscitate, a living will, an advance directive, that sort of thing. You can always choose other if that doesn't really match. And then you just select your file. Now, you may not have this file on your phone, and that's okay. This app is designed to work no matter where you are, as long as you have a web browser. So something like Chrome or Edge or Safari or whatever. So you can do this on a tablet, on an iPad. You can do it on a laptop. You can do it on a desktop. So if you have that document somewhere else, all you have to do is go to your laptop or whatever, open up my.smltags.com, log in, scroll over to the documents, choose upload a document, and you can add it from there. And it will be on your account no matter what device you use. Again, you can add notes to that. And one other thing, and we'll talk about this when we talk about notes later, but you can mark a document as a critical document. So something like a DNR, a do not resuscitate order, might be a critical document. That's something you want to make sure that the EMS sees. When you toggle this on and turn on the critical document kind of flag, it puts it at the very top of your profile when a paramedic or a first responder looks at your information. That puts it front and center so that they can definitely see it. The same is true, and we'll talk about notes later, but you can do this across everything if you have critical information that you want to make sure that they see. Again, we'll talk about that in a later video. But otherwise, that's about it. It's fairly simple, fairly straightforward. The main thing is just make sure that you put as complete of information as you can, because the more information you give your first responder, the more likely they are to be able to treat you properly and save your life. Thank you for watching. See you next time.